Welcome to a deep dive into Last Men Standing. It's a science fiction short story from IEEE Spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be tackling some pretty heavy questions today.
Okay.
As we explore what happens when teleportation gets so advanced
Yeah,
that it's less about travel and more about destructive copying.
that's right.
Yeah.
The story kind of throws us into this future
Sure.
where teleporting is an everyday thing,
Right.
but there's a twist.
Okay.
It's not moving you from point A to point B.
Right.
It's creating a perfect duplicate of you at the destination,
Oh, wow.
while the original you is destroyed.
So you step into the teleportation booth and poof,
Goof.
a new you exists, but the old you is gone.
Right.
Which really makes you wonder,
Yeah,
is that copy really you?
right.
Does it have your consciousness, your memories, all the things that make you you?
Exactly.
And that's what this story really digs into.
Yeah.
Makes us consider what defines personal identity.
And the author brings up the ship of Theseus to kind of illustrate this whole problem.
I see.
So imagine a wooden ship.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, you replace one plank, then another and another.
Right.
Until eventually every single piece of wood is new.
Okay.
Is it still the same ship?
Right.
And that's the question the story asks
Yeah.
about us and our identity over time.
So the story isn't just philosophical.
Right.
It also explores these social impacts of this technology.
Right.
So we meet this community of people
Okay.
who refuse teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
They call themselves the last men standing.
Right.
And they believe that they're the last real humans
Uh-huh.
because they haven't been copied and destroyed.
And their reasons for rejecting this seemingly super convenient technology are fascinating.
Yeah.
Some of them, they're afraid of the technology itself,
Mm-hmm.
while others have like spiritual beliefs about
Mhm.
the soul that just make teleportation like unacceptable.
Right.
But a lot of them
Yeah.
simply value the continuity of their consciousness. That like unbroken thread of experience that makes up a life.
So one character, the mayor of this community,
Right.
is even deceiving the government
Oh, wow.
to try to secure resources for their children, for kids who are born naturally and not teleported into existence.
Interesting.
And he sees these kids as humanity's last hope.
I see.
His actions really highlight how desperate
Yeah.
these people feel in a world that's left them behind.
It's easy to like just dismiss them as Luddites.
No.
But, their struggle, I think, reflects a very real fear of losing something essential about ourselves
Yeah.
in this pursuit of progress.
Makes you wonder, are they onto something?
Yeah,
Is there a price to be paid for this kind of advancement?
exactly.
And this story doesn't shy away from hinting at what that price might be.
Right.
The author describes this world where teleportation has completely reshaped everything.
Yeah.
Geographic boundaries don't even mean anything when you can instantly travel anywhere.
Like we see this with the government official, for example.
Okay.
He talks about his daughter being born in Asia
Uh-huh.
while he lives in South Africa, like it's the most normal thing in the world.
Wow.
This casual mention really speaks volumes
Yeah.
about how teleportation could impact families and relationships,
Right.
making the world feel smaller,
Okay.
but maybe more fragmented.
But even in this world where teleportation is so commonplace,
Yeah.
there's this tension
Right.
between those who embrace it and those who question it.
Uh-huh.
Like the government official dismisses the mayor's concerns
Yuck.
about destructive copying as crackpot theories.
Mm-hmm.
It highlights how quickly we can dismiss viewpoints
Yeah.
that challenge the status quo,
Right.
especially when it comes to technology.
It reminds me of all the skepticism towards innovations, like cars or the internet.
Yeah,
Things we just take for granted now,
Right.
are once met with fear and resistance.
right.
Makes you wonder, are the last men standing just ahead of their time?
Mm.
Are they seeing the dangers that others are blind to?
So we've got this incredibly advanced technology.
Yeah.
The philosophical dilemmas of destructive copying and personal identity,
Mm-hmm.
and this very real societal upheaval.
Yeah.
And woven through it all,
Yeah.
this question: would you choose to teleport knowing what it entails?
The story throws us right into this dilemma
Right.
with the community of those who refuse.
Right.
And it makes us question what we value most.
Right.
Is it the physical continuity of our existence, or
Right.
is it something less tangible, like the unbroken chain of our consciousness?
A story also dives into the technical side of teleportation a little,
Yeah.
making it very clear that it's not moving you.
Yeah.
It's creating a copy.
Right.
And this shifts the focus
How?
from the how of teleportation
Yeah.
to who that comes out on the other side.
Right.
And it makes you think, what happens to the original you?
Exactly.
Is it simply erased? And what are the ethical implications of that?
That's where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
Because the story doesn't offer easy answers.
Right.
It leaves us to grapple with these really profound questions.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront our own beliefs about the nature of self
Okay.
and the acceptable limits of progress.
So now we're going to take a closer look at those who refuse to teleport,
Okay.
these last men standing,
Right.
and explore why their struggle to preserve their way of life
Yeah.
in a world that seems to have moved on without them
Mm-hmm.
is so compelling.
Okay. It's like their whole existence is this contradiction.
Yeah.
They're clinging to a world that doesn't exist anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but they see themselves as like the guardians of true humanity.
Right.
The story does such a good job painting this picture of their struggle.
Oh.
Like with that museum filled with all those dusty old cars.
Yeah, it's such a powerful image.
Yeah.
It represents this fading way of life.
Exactly.
Like these relics from the past,
Yeah.
Symbols of a time before instant travel.
Mm-hmm. They're like these constant reminders of what they think has been lost.
And there's this sense of melancholy surrounding them.
Yeah.
There's dwindling minority just trying to hold on to their traditions
Yeah.
in a world that sees them as obsolete.
Right. But they're not giving up without a fight.
No, they're not.
I mean, the mayor's deception to get resources for the kids just shows how resilient they are.
It makes you wonder, are they delusional or do they have a point?
It's a good question.
Are they clinging to some outdated worldview?
Yeah.
Or are they the only ones who see the real cost of progress?
I think that's the genius of the story.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you those easy answers.
Right.
It makes you consider the possibility that maybe they're onto something.
And as we get deeper into this world,
Mm-hmm.
we see those potential costs,
Right.
especially when it comes to like societal structures.
Mm-hmm.
That government official's attitude toward teleportation is chilling.
Yeah.
He just casually mentions his daughter being born in Asia while he lives in South Africa.
I know.
That's crazy.
It suggests this world where family and roots have become so diluted.
Yeah.
Physical location is almost meaningless
Right.
when you can teleport anywhere instantly.
But then what happens to our sense of belonging
Exactly.
when we're constantly on the move?
And it makes you think about the economic consequences, too.
Yeah.
Imagine jobs can be instantly outsourced to anywhere on the planet.
It's kind of scary.
The potential for inequality is huge.
Right.
Like the wealthy can teleport wherever,
Yeah.
while everyone else is left behind, just widening the gap between the haves and have-nots.
So the story is showing us this clash of ideologies
Mm-hmm.
between those who embrace teleportation and those who resist it.
Right.
And then we have these philosophical questions about personal identity
Yeah.
and the real possibility of this huge societal upheaval.
Yeah, and at the heart of it all
Mm-hmm.
is that question. If you could teleport, knowing what we know now, would you
Would you step onto that platform?
Yes.
Knowing it might not be you coming out on the other side.
write a copy?
What would that choice say about you
Yeah.
and the world you want to live in?
It makes us think about what we value.
Right.
Is it that physical continuity
Hmm.
or something less tangible like consciousness or the soul?
What makes us unique?
Yeah.
And what are we willing to sacrifice for progress?
Okay, so as you think about these questions,
Okay.
let's look at how the author uses the ship of Theseus,
Okay.
because it gets to the heart of the identity problem with destructive copying.
Yeah.
It's a simple idea, but so powerful.
Yeah.
This ship being rebuilt plank by plank,
Right.
it really makes us ask,
Yeah.
at what point does it stop being the original?
And how does that apply to us?
Exactly.
As humans who are constantly changing
Yeah,
and evolving over time.
right. Are we just our experiences and memories?
Yeah.
And if those can be copied,
Mm.
does that mean our essence can be too?
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, it is.
And the story takes it even further by showing us this world where the line between original and copy
Right.
gets totally blurred.
Like imagine originality becomes this rare commodity,
Wow.
something that's prized and maybe even exploited.
It's like a new social currency.
Totally.
In a world full of copies being the first, you would
Yeah.
be huge.
But what would that world even look like?
It's a chilling thought.
It really is.
And it brings us back to that question,
Anarchical.
the one that's been running through this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
Would you step onto that teleportation pad?
Knowing it might not be you stepping off at the other end,
Right.
just a perfect copy.
That's the dilemma.
Yeah. And it makes you think,
Last men standing?
Yeah.
is science fiction,
Yeah.
but it brings up real concerns
Mhm.
about the path we're on with technology.
It's like a warning,
Yeah,
reminding us that progress without thinking
right.
can have unexpected consequences.
It challenges us
To think beyond the convenience
Yeah.
and all those promises of a better future.
to consider the costs.
What are we willing to sacrifice?
And what does it even mean to be human
Yeah.
in a world where tech can blur those lines?
Of identity and existence.
It's deep.
It is.
This story doesn't give us the answers.
No.
It just leaves us with this unease, this question mark hanging over our own relationship with technology.
Right, and I think that's the point.
Last men standing really stays with you.
It does.
It makes you examine your own beliefs
Yeah.
about the world and the future. So as you go about your day,
Yeah.
think about it. Would you step onto that pad?
Good question.
What would your choice say about you?
And what kind of world do you want to live in?
Until next time, keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep diving deep.